Many of you may be thinking about buying a home this year once the snow melts and spring finally arrives. I know it's been kind of a tough winter, and although your search may not begin anytime soon, a little preparation can pay off greatly when you find that perfect home. So Roxanne Miller, Ben Sullivan are here from Western State Bank. Thanks so much for joining us, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so one of the biggest things is we want to make sure that we're in a very good place when we're ready to look for a home. Credit is obviously, that can have a huge impact on the mortgage process ultimately, and what you can afford as well. So can you give us some tips, kind of, Roxanne? How can you get your credit in the best possible position so that when you're ready to make an offer, you're good to go?
Absolutely. When a borrower is looking at purchasing a home, we do recommend that they come in and see a mortgage loan officer as soon as possible, because then we can actually, with their authorization, pull credit, and we will also go ahead and see where their rates are, where their credit is at, and also figure out if we need to create credit, maybe pay down debt, maybe pay off debt. So there's many different things we can do to increase that credit score if that is needed. The other item is we do want to go over their entire credit report to make sure that everything that's on there is accurate, because there can be errors at times too.
I know I've had surprises on my credit report, and fraud is just, it's rampant. You have to make sure that you're presenting the right things. And how many times do people come in and apply for a mortgage and they find all these things on their credit report that they have to repair, and it can take months working with the credit agency. So that's a big deal. Now, Ben, another big factor is understanding how much you can afford, whether that's your down payment or how much house really you can do in a mortgage payment. How do you help people figure that out?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of the things that I like to do first is I like to ask people, what are you comfortable with? Because ultimately, I think that's the most important thing. Oftentimes, people are probably qualified for more than they need, but we like to ask them, what are you comfortable with? And then from there, we'll kind of look at their income and their debts, and then we'll kind of back into that and kind of see and make sure that that fits into what we can qualify them for. But up front, really, it's just about what payment are you most comfortable with, and then we'll work with them from there.
And in terms of a down payment, would it be cool if we all had 20% in our pocket to just, hand you a check? Yes, it would. That's not always the reality, and there is down payment assistance, correct?
Yeah.
In some cases.
Yeah, so we're, in this area, we're super fortunate to have really great down payment assistance programs on both sides of the river. That's not often the case in other markets, but here we have a lot of great things in place and opportunities and programs that can help with some of that down payment assistance. Now, with any program, there are certain qualifications and things that can be a little bit tricky. So we would suggest that you meet with a lender that has experience in those programs, and if you're thinking about it, get started sooner than later.
And while it's super fun when you decide you're ready to buy a house, just get out there and start looking at houses. These things are really important, right, Roxanne? Because you've got your credit, you have to know how much down payment you have, how much you can afford, but you need to be pre-qualified.
Absolutely. Being pre-qualified could mean getting the house or not. It shows sellers and the sellers' realtors that you are serious about buying that house. It also demonstrates to them and shows that they've met with the mortgage lender and they know what the payments expected to be, and also what the closing costs and actual down payment and total that they need to invest in that purchase.
And of course, once you've got to that point, and maybe some people aren't quite ready yet, maybe they're just starting the process, they want to start kind of looking at maybe what's on the market. Can you tell me, why is it a good idea to start working with a realtor now?
Well, I think that one of the great things about working with a realtor is they're going to spend some time up front getting to know you. They're gonna ask you what are you looking for? What are your must-haves? What are your wants? What areas do you want to be in? And then their expertise is going to help find homes in those areas, and oftentimes maybe areas that you didn't know about, or things like that. And they're going to be able to see quicker when homes come on the market. And just like a mortgage lender, they're going to guide you through some of the process and hopefully help you make it a good experience.
All right, so if somebody's ready to kind of start this process and get off the ground running, where can they find you?
Well, we actually have two locations in West Fargo. We're located on the corner of 13th Avenue East and 9th Street in the Pioneer Center. Or in Fargo, we're actually in the Osgood area off of 45th Street, right to the east of Osgood Hornbachers. Otherwise, they can check us out at westernbanks.com.
Well, fantastic, Roxanne and Ben. Thanks so much for joining us
Thank you.
today. Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to have you back because this is just one of many issues we can talk about, including finances. Now, coming up next, we all love our pets, but are you missing signs that they might be sick? We'll talk to Pet Health when we get back from the break.